What is up there, and welcome to a brand new video on 414 Anime. In today's video, we will be looking into SAYU'S dark and tragic past, as well as her reasons for running away from home. SAYU'S past is quite the sad one, filled with events that just really make you feel sorry for her. At the time of the making of this video, the light novel is up to volume 4, and it gives us SAYU'S reasons for leaving, plus her brother's side of the story too, which, was pretty awesome to see. Quick warning that there will of course be spoilers here, as we are looking into the light novel, and the anime is way behind these events, though, there was a quick foreshadowing in episode 4. Anyway, just a heads up. If you enjoy these videos, make sure to smash the like button and share this video with a fellow fan of the series. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you'll be notified when new videos go live on the channel. And if you want more 414 videos, why not head over to my Patreon, where I have some exclusive videos, monthly hangouts, and early access to these videos before anyone else. Anyway, with that being said, grab yourself a beverage, let's roll intro, and get straight into the video. SAYU'S reasons for running away, to me, are split into 3 categories. 1, her family situation, 2, her life at school, and 3, her best friend Yuzuki. SAYU has kept very quiet on the big question of why, but over time has grown very close to Yoshida and Asami, to which she has now decided to spill the beans, so to speak. I'm going to break this down into those 3 categories so it's easier to understand, and this will, paint the full picture. So, her family life. This information was provided to us by SAYU'S older brother, Issa, who had met up with Yoshida for lunch to talk about SAYU'S situation and taking her back home. He told Yoshida her parents both worked at the same food company in Hokkaido. Said company her father was actually the CEO of, and this is where they met and eventually married. Not too long after, Issa was born and their mother left the company to become a full-time mum. Issa was the pride and joy of the family. He was smart, successful, and is now the CEO of this great food company. Their father was actually a giant douchebag who enjoyed sleeping with other women and became disinterested with their mother. He was in fact never at home, presumably, of course, with the other women, and would only return home if he felt an urge to sleep with the mother. This guy really is a grade A asshole. Now, in one of his home time booty call visits, a little accident happened. That being SAYU. Yet the mother became pregnant with SAYU, and the father was not having any of it. He wanted to have the child aborted, but the mother rejected, as she believed that this child was the key in keeping the family together, ending the father's douchebag ways. This unfortunately was not the case, as the father completely left the scene, even remarrying another woman as soon as SAYU was born. Poor SAYU was now just a victim of a father who wanted nothing to do with her and a mother who couldn't love her, as she reminded her of what she had lost. Her brother Issa, however, loves his sister and could feel just how lonely she felt growing up. No one ever believed in SAYU. Nothing was ever expected of her, but her brother was always receiving praise, which led SAYU into believing that there was just simply no point in trying to excel. And can you really blame the girl? SAYU has proven that she is more than capable, that she can achieve, but with no one to believe in her, to tell her that she is doing great, especially the lack of it from her parents, it's a no-brainer that this girl was being set up to run away. Her life at home was completely miserable. Her father was of course never there, her mother rarely cared to show an interest in her and was very strict. The only one who cared about her was her brother, but he was always really busy, so she hardly ever saw him. Her home, a place where a child should feel safe and loved, was nothing more than a prison. She couldn't even go out as her mother didn't let her leave the house. SAYU was trapped. Despite this, SAYU still managed to get into a good high school, which is proof enough that she is capable. However, getting into this high school would not reward her. It would only bring her more pain. This of course leads us to category 2 of her reasons for running away. Now, the way a child is brought up plays a huge part in shaping how they're going to be as a person, and from the get-go, SAYU was completely different from the other kids at this school, meaning that she had no friends. SAYU wasn't bothered in the slightest by this. She was used to being alone, so it didn't matter to her. She was simply a ghost in the classroom, but this was fine by her, as, this was all that she knows. She does have one trait that did eventually attract someone to her, and that was how beautiful she was. In her second year, a very popular guy on the baseball team confessed to Sayu, saying that he had been into her since the first year. Sayu actually ends up turning him down. This was due to the fact that she, didn't really understand what love was, but knew that dating in high school would bring too much attention to her. And even before she had answered him, she was already attracting too much attention, as the classic rumor mill of high school had started, and this made Sayu feel uncomfortable. It was too much for her, and it was unnecessary drama for her to deal with. She just wanted to keep her head down and get good grades. Unfortunately for Sayu, one of the popular girls and two of her friends wanted to talk to her alone. Of course, the popular chick had a thing for the baseball player, and she had a real problem with a person of his status confessing to a person such as Sayu. Sayu just told her how it was, to which the popular girl did not like it at all, but those type of girls can simply do one. Really. You hate to see them. You hate to see them. Anyway, following this encounter, Sayu felt a different vibe in the school, as if everyone had chosen to avoid her for some reason. This, of course, was nothing new to her, as she has always been alone, keeping herself to herself, solely focusing on getting good grades, but she now felt as if she had done something to them, to wrong them in some way, and it wasn't a good feeling. Then, a girl notices how alone Sayu is and asked her if she wanted to be friends. That girl's name was Yuzuki, and this brings us to category number 3, and it gets very dark here. Things start great for Sayu here, as the two girls are inseparable. They hang out during school breaks, walk home together, all the things school friends do. This made Sayu really happy, and hell yeah, if anyone deserves a break, it's our girl Sayu, right? Frick yeah. And of course, we return to the cruel high school kids. They constantly bitched about Sayu and Yuzuki, and they were avoided at all costs. This started to take its toll on Yuzuki, who wasn't as strong as Sayu. Yuzuki started to act like a completely different person around Sayu, and the time they spent together during lunch breaks drastically decreased. And the reason for this was the douchebag popular girl who confronted Sayu about the baseball player. Turns out Yuzuki was getting bullied and harassed by this girl and her friends for associating with Sayu. Yuzuki was scared and depressed, but confided in Sayu about what was going on and her feelings. Sayu, being the stronger, more defiant of the two, said that they would fight the bullying together and they would not be made to feel this way for being friends. One day, during a lunch break, Yuzuki went to the bathroom but had been gone for a long time. Sayu went looking for her, only to find that Yuzuki was getting bullied by that popular girl in the bathroom. Good girl Sayu managed to get Yuzuki out of there, but the popular girl turned to Sayu and said that she should ditch Yuzuki and join their group instead. As you can imagine, Sayu didn't take too kindly to this, and I'm right there with her. Screw those girls, man. Screw them. Yuzuki tried to protect Sayu by agreeing with the popular girl, saying that Sayu should ditch her and join their group. Yuzuki just didn't want to see her best friend bullied anymore. Sayu strongly disagreed and said that the two of them should stick together, that everything would be okay and they only had to make it through to graduation and then they'd be free of it. But as you can imagine, this act of defiance only made the bullying much worse. The two of them went through a lot here, and Sayu wanted to skip school, but her mother wouldn't let her. Sayu thought this was actually probably for the best, as it meant that she wasn't leaving Yuzuki alone to deal with this. However, one day Sayu noticed that Yuzuki hadn't come to school, and she was actually really happy about it. She knew that her friend was in a much safer place, but this wasn't the case. Sayu ran into Yuzuki, who said that she wanted to talk to her on the roof. Now, it was on the roof that Yuzuki apologized to Sayu, saying that she had become nothing but a burden to her since the two became friends, that everything that had happened, everything that is still happening, was her fault and hers alone. She said that Sayu was much stronger on her own and that having to protect her, Sayu never smiled anymore, and that really hurt Yuzuki. She turned to Sayu and told her to keep on smiling before throwing herself off the school roof. Sayu tried to stop her, but before she realized what Yuzuki was actually doing, it was far too late. The loss of her friend and how she went was emotional torture for Sayu. The two were meant to get through this together. She was supposed to be the one to protect her, but she couldn't see just how much pain her best friend was suffering. To make things worse, Sayu was constantly questioned, be it by the police or the media that would gather outside her house and at school. Not only was this crippling Sayu, but the one person she should be able to turn to for help and support was just getting angry at her. Yeah, We're talking about her mother. All her mother could say was that she wasn't surprised by this coming from Sayu. Like, what a total biatch, right? Now, due to the constant media harassment, Sayu eventually decided just not to go to school at all. I don't blame her. Sayu was hurt. She was lonely and confused. Now, this is where the three categories meet. Sayu had no idea about her father in terms of what he was really like. She was simply told that he divorced her mother shortly after she was born. She of course knew that her mother saw her as the reason for all the family's misfortune, whereas her brother couldn't put a foot wrong. It wasn't until one day that she saw her mother crying. She told Sayu that everything was her fault. All Sayu could do was apologize. Remember, Sayu only knows how to run away from her problems, so, by just accepting that everything was her fault and apologizing, she thought her mother would just, back off in time. Unfortunately, no. She went too far by saying, "You must have been the one that killed your friend on purpose, didn't you?" Now, this was breaking point for Sayu as she packed her things and ran away. The surprising thing is her brother actually took her to the station, gave her 300,000 yen and supported her in taking some time to get away. All he asked was that she promised to return once the money had run out. As we know, that wasn't the case. Sayu spent all the money in hotels where she would sit there alone, wondering what the point of herself was. She then, of course, ran out of money and threw her phone away as she couldn't bear the idea of returning to that hell, and instead sold her body to random guys in exchange for a place to stay until her fated encounter with Yoshida. And there we go, that was Sayu's reasons for running away. You simply cannot blame the girl for running away from all of this, and I really couldn't imagine just how much pain this girl is going through. I feel for her, I really do. Will things get better for her? Well, only time in the light novel will tell, but this has certainly been a really good show to watch. What do you guys think of this series? Now, if you enjoyed this video and would like to see more content just like this, make sure to smash the like button and share this video with a fellow fan of the series. Don't forget to follow me on Twitter, Discord, and my second channel, 414V2, for live streams and anime figure content. Links are in the description below. And of course, hit the subscribe button and the notification bell so you do not miss future videos. As always, a huge shout out to Warwick, Animator22, Brian, Blake, Andrew, BS Tuna, Zintac, Emmeline, Kivasey, Cody, and Chris for supporting me on Patreon. Don't forget to head on over there yourselves, check out the amazing rewards, including a super special exclusive series on Toka from Data Live for Patreons only. But that is it from me. Till next time, my fellow weebs. Peace!